and we'll get started. Hopefully you've got a psalm singing session packet. Those of you who are watching online or watching after the fact, I believe we sent out that packet. We have to kind of hang on to that, so we don't want that to get far and wide. But yes, there's packets here. If anybody doesn't have one, raise your hand. Or be ready to mouth and lip sync. All right, this is Sarah Davis. If you've not met her, she's played for Theopolis stuff. She's our K3 music teacher and one of our organists here. Also one of our other organists at the church here, Glenn Warner, organist, pianist. Dr. Erb is with us. He has a break, so we will do some of the songs, some of the selections. The idea of this is just putting together some things that is known and new, things that are new settings, just basically, as Yuri said, getting us singing, getting us maybe encouraged by that fact, with the idea that it might spur you on and help us to see. I like to say that we want new settings. The church is all about new settings, it seems, the evangelical church of music. But there's so much good music out there. You need to be thankful for what has come before, and you can't be thankful, by and large, for stuff you don't know exists. I mean, you can give it lip service and thankfulness, but it's hard to be thankful truly if you don't have an awareness. So some of this stuff will be new, some of this stuff will be a different setting. So let's jump right in. Sarah Davis, if you don't mind. We'll stay seated here. We're going to sing through one verse of most of these. Sarah will play through them. I'm not going to stand up here and sing. I'm just going to step to the side, but we'll just sing through this. This is the Lutheran version with the Lutheran more rhythmic style of Now Thank We All Our God. Seemed a fitting way to start our singing is with thankfulness. So Sarah.
Do you want any particular parts? I could maybe sing alto as long as
Right. You were in the Bonhoeffer the first, yes. Just parts, unison, whatever you feel comfortable with. Similar rhythmic setting, if you flip the page there, A Mighty Fortress, with the Lutheran text and the rhythmic Lutheran harmonization, which to your ears will probably sound a little bit more bland in the third line. Also, the Frederick Hedge, the poetic Unitarian who did the bulwark never failing text, the Lutherans never had to suffer through that. The rest of us evangelicals and Baptists had to suffer through that Unitarian text. And then this is as close as we've got. Ein guter War und Waffen, right? A trusty shield and weapon. So we'll sing through just this first verse. I will call your eye to a modified last two lines, but we'll play through it and sing this through. skip a little bit around here. That's a great setting. You don't have to retire the Bach harmonization, of course, on that one. It's wonderful. But if you don't have an organ or strings or something that's majestic, then that's a wonderful thing, especially when Luther wrote text and tune. It's nice to sing that as much as we love Bach. All right, let's skip here. Dr. Erb is only able to be here with us for a little while. Dr. Erb, I was hoping maybe you would do a couple of your Psalms or maybe start your 10 Commandments, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, yeah, we'll just go through them quickly.
Okay.
On page 9 is Psalm 121. Hello, nice to see you all. And this is a little down payment on a talk later this afternoon. So, real briefly, written 50 Psalms, 50 of the Psalms in through composed manner, so they're word for word out of the Bible. Most of them are the New King James, a few of them are the King James, so there's no text repetition or that kind of thing. Of course, that means they're not rhymed and metered like we're used to with other styles. So this starts, with, of course, with a psalm tone. It's not one of the historic psalm tones, but it's similar. And then as it goes into the metered section, basically there are 2 verses, if you will, musically, and it's in the pentatonic scale. So we'll try 121 first.
Do we sing the chant?
Yeah, you go ahead and sing the chant. Actually, I never lose my voice, but something's happened and I can hardly phonate. So you can pray that I might be able to make it through the Bach lecture since I've done music camp all day. It's bizarre. Long before I ever thought of this as a project. It's when I met my wife on a trip to the Czech Republic. You can ask me later for the full story. But back then, the musical influence it was an Athletes in Action trip, was kind of the contemporary Christian songs from the loft. And so I had to bring this because you'll get a kick out of it. But this song originally existed like this. And I love it because it's like, a child from a long time ago. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, He leads me beside the still waters, etc. And so as I started writing psalms in very different style, I thought, this doesn't fit, it won't work in Moscow. And so I'd lay awake sometimes at night. How can I get those scoopy things out? And then it occurred to me one night, as I was pondering this, a pastoral, which is what this psalm is, and so it became the Lord is my shepherd. So I changed the style, and I was able to get it all to kind of fit, and voila. So we'll give it a sing, shall we?
In the
page 133. This was maybe the second psalm I wrote, or third. And I wrote it when I was at the church in Seattle, and there were a bunch of people that were leaving the church for a number of reasons, as people are wont to do in Presbyterian Reformed worlds. And it was the first time I experienced that in a church. Some elders and not pastors, but elders and deacons leaving, and then just people you loved, and it's like, what's going on? We need to be singing Psalm 133 because it appears that we don't have this. So I wrote this song. It has a little bit of a Hebraic folk flavor to it. The Ten Commandments, which is a war horse. You can see up at the top of the page 18, this includes kind of the preamble, the Shema from Deuteronomy, and then it has the Ten Commandments complete from Exodus, and then it ends with the Matthew quotation of the passage from Deuteronomy, so it kind of bookends. So I started this with the Hebrew, which is then translated in the second line in the English. So when we do this, I sing the first line, and then the choir would sing the second line. And then the third line, which is the part particularly that's quoted in Matthew, that you shall love the Lord your God. You don't have to sing it as a canon, but it can be done as a 4-part canon. So as we do it, go ahead, we'll sing it once all together, and then we'll do it as a 4-part canon. Just pick your part, and when you get to the end, just hold the note until everybody gets there. And then we'll go on, and any of the chant parts, let me pretend to sing, since I can hardly do it, but I'll do that, and then you can respond a bit. We'll do at least a little bit so you get a flavor of it. So I'll do the first line, you join in the second. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Part 1, you shall love stuff, but just look at the end then. So it goes through all the 10 commandments, and then if you get to, on page 21, measure 102, you'll see the Matthew quotation. So let's just sing there to the end. We won't do it as a canon, just sing it straight, and then we'll finish out. You shall love and sing.
You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. All these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
All right, I'll see you next afternoon.
Yes. Okay, so I thought we've got some more contributions in this thing that we'll jump in, and we've got some from Dan Kreider, who comes from Jupiter, Florida, to us, and also Michael Owens has been superintending the New Contus 2020 project. So what I thought we would do is sing some of those, and then we've got some of our folks have done some things. So if we can turn to page 6 and sing this Round the Earth message run. Sarah, if you'll play through that. Did you want to say anything about that?
No.
Yes or no? Or, all right, let's just sing. We'll sing through it one time. Thank you, David.
Round the earth a message runs, awake, awake, you drowsy ones. Now leaves the sap in every stem to chant the winter's requiem. No more of sloth and dullness sing, sing love, sing joy, for Christ is King.
Amen. So we put a few of these. Michael sent us a whole bunch that he's going to give in his session tomorrow. So you'll hear a lion's share. I tried to find, I may have had some duplicates, some of the ones you didn't pare down so that we have those. All right, let's just flip the page there to page 7. And this is Dan Kreider. Did you want to say anything about this tune?
Yes, it's in the wrong key.
Is it?
Would anyone be bothered if we just, well, it needs to be in C minor? Or, well, it needs, sorry, it needs to be in A minor. But,
Do you want to play the new matter? I can't.
yeah, let me, why don't I do that? I was looking at this thinking, man, this is too low, it's too contemplative. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No problem.
Another thing is too, what's the poor altos who get left out? The other thing is too, it can either be unison, and that's how I conceived of it, but I did write it in parts, so I don't know which should we try the parts, or should we do unison?
We might try unison first and see what happens if we feel ambitious.
Here we go.
Lord, when the storms of life arise, be near to keep me there. My chosen portion and my prize, in whom alone my refuge lies, on whom my hope is set.
So let me try parts, I don't know if I can play the parts. Hey, is there a transpose button?
There is. I'm not as quick on how to do it. There is one.
It's embarrassing, I should be able to just do it. We're just gonna wing, we're gonna make it happen, here we go.
Is there another one that you saw in here that you while you're up here?
Yeah, I would love to do number 11, page 11. This one has to be in parts, so we have to get, guys can sing the soprano down the octave. We have to have some altos. Can anybody sing alto? Alto would be great. Tenor? Tenor? Oh, come on, tenors. And basses. All right, so this one's kind of a black gospel kind of feel. In fact, I sort of conceive of this as, blessed is everyone who fears the Lord. Oh, we don't have to do that. I don't know if that's a lot outside of it. But for starters, we'll just kind of do the parts. One and two.
Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord. Blessed is everyone who walks in his ways. You shall savor all your life's rewards. And you shall be with you all your days. May the Lord bless you from Zion. Bless your hand and give you life. May you live to see your children's children. Peace for the people whose delight.
Verse 2, here we go.
Love was flourishing within your house. Children planted in the way of truth. These are blessings for the man who vows to worship the Lord and fear him too. May the Lord bless you from Zion. Prosper your hands and give you life. May you live to see your children's children. Peace for the people of his delight.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you can see we've got an eclectic, I said the other day, it's a hodgepodge before we saw John Hodges. It's a hodgepodge. My wife said, you need to use that, so we can report back, I used it. If Jim Jordan is the patron saint of cranky, I'm the patron saint of unintended puns, at least my wife will tell you that. While we have Sarah here, Sarah, if you would play through your setting of Praise the Lord, page 14. So a little story here. Glenn Warner, our other accompanist, said, I wish we could get a different tune for this.
It's
Sarah,
actually 8.
Oh, 8, sorry. Well,
There's another praise.
oh, sorry, that's the dance. Yeah, sorry, page 8, sorry. So Sarah came and gave Glenn a composition, and we both liked it, so we thought we'd share with you a new composition to an old and known text. Is that 8? Page 8, yes,
8.
so sorry.
So I'll play through it once. And then, yeah.
If we can, Mr. Warner, would you be willing to play your setting of Psalm 12 on page 12? I didn't mean to do that either.
This text is straight out of the English Standard Version, word for word. And it was written to be unison, but I ended up doing 4 parts. You may find it easier to just do the unison, at least for now. But I'll play through it once so you can hear it and sing it.
So we've got more time to go through some of these. Sarah, if you would, let's turn and do, just to keep this all nice and mixed around, let's look at page 5 and sing this Urbs Beata setting of Blessed City.
First and third, fourth syllables are not aligned on my last phrase. Is that a mistake, or are they supposed to be sung with a different note?
Oh, I think they got over. Yeah, that's gotta be a mistake.
Yeah, it's could very well be, but I did not do this engraving. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It just may
The word earth and the word should are not aligned with the note they're supposed to be sung on. I was just making sure that was on purpose or mistake. Doesn't matter.
Could be. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? We have time. Oh, we're doing great on time. So let's see if we can. Let's look at this page 15. This joyful Easter tide.
Yay.
On page 15. We'll sing through that.
I have no idea why this was left out of the last contest. It really should have been in it, but it's in the new one.
Ascension and Easter and Pentecost tunes for those long seasons. Let's keep reading page 22. The antiphon here that That's lovely, this Russian composition. And Sarah, I don't know
All the
that you
way
need to
through,
play
just an
it
intro.
all the way through. Yeah, if you just want to play, she's going to play the melody, and most of us have sung it or heard it sung.
I'll just give you.
Mine for our Geneva students because they wanted to put that harbor. Melisma, we don't like melisma. So anyway, yes.
Before we're going to attack, you have Ms. Davis do Psalm 145 again? Her version of 145.
Very possible. If we can squeak it in at the end, I'll do my best. Remind me. Yes, remind me.
Okay, let's, Michael, did you tell us about this 24, page 24, this thank the Lord and sing his praise. As I said, I was pulling some of his stuff that's not in his packet for tomorrow, just so that we have a little bit of this, a little bit of that here in this singing session. Any comments?
Well, I wanted to do a walkthrough, but it takes too much time to actually sing all the songs. So I'm actually going to do an overview tomorrow. So some of the ones I was going to sing tomorrow, I have to sing today, and this is one of them. I sang this in a Mennonite choir years ago, anonymous, and very much to my surprise, I found it in the Lutheran Service Book, 2006. Again, anonymous. I'd be grateful if anybody knows who wrote it, words, or music. That's all. It's a post-communion canticle. It's not from the Psalms. It's from, I don't know where it's from. Literally, I don't. Where'd you grow up singing it? What
I'm an
church?
LCMS, so.
Yeah, this is from the LCMS.
The same Lutheran service book you talked about. I don't know who wrote it.
Dan, is there, I can't remember what other ones of yours in here is, do we want to do the 148, 14? Did you want to play that, or you okay with Sarah playing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
On page 14, y'all.
Like,
I sang it last night, so we'll see.
It's actually, I think it's pretty easy to pick up melodically, but of course, I think that. So the easiest thing would be to play that ending keyword repeated very end twice.
And that's not give you the whole thing, just,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, yes, you can give the whole thing, I'm just saying if you were to give an intro.
oh, okay, thanks, yeah.
Once you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the Mission Impossible. Sort of.
Okay, if it's not.
Oh.
Praise the Lord of heaven, praise Him in the highest, praise Him all His angels, praise Him most sublime. Sun and moon together, shining stars aflame, planets in their courses magnify His name.
One more time.
Praise the Lord of heaven, praise Him in the highest, praise Him all His angels, praise Him most sublime. Sun and moon together, shining stars aflame, planets in their courses magnify His name.
All right, let's see. That's the bad thing about going out of order. Now you have to catch me if we haven't. What have we not covered? Did we sing "The Earth This Day Rejoices" on 25? We did.
No.
Okay, let's do that one. Page 25, Epiphany tune. We always need good Epiphany tune.
Today rejoices, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Death can hurt no more, and celestial voices, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Tell that sin is o'er. David sing destroys the foe. Samson lays the temple low. War and strife are done. God as man has come.
Hey, Jared, I want a list of all the hymns that mention Samson. I have one on my list.
Samson doesn't get a lot of mentions. Yeah, that's right.
If anyone has any idea why those individuals of scripture are mentioned, David, Gideon, Samson, Solomon, I've copied this word for word from the Oxford Book of Carols, but I wasn't raised with the church calendar. So is there any reason why this would be an Epiphany carol, to mention those individuals? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Not without researching. All righty, let's see. We're doing great on time. What we'll do is, let me just check here. I was nervous we wouldn't get to get everything in. What else have we?
Page 10, we didn't.
Page
do. Those
10,
were your
oh yes.
harmonizations.
Page 10 is a couple metrical settings of Leonard Payton's, who was with Rich Lusk and Redeemer and Austin, and then went off, I think, back to the Lutheran Church. But very gifted musician, and we have sung it, but this is a substituted text for our people. This is a project Sarah Garner is working on for their church, their CRC church in Cary. So these are some harmonizations I did for her right out of undergrad school. So if you see any parallel fifths, please don't tell me. Okay. Let's do the first one. Then this other one is, we didn't sing it to this text. We sang it, I don't remember. This is the subject. Sarah sent this to me. So those of you Geneva folks will know this tune for what it says. Let's see, did we, Mr. Pat said to sing your...
Oh, and there's the very last
Oh,
page.
yes, no, we need to do the Chester. Yes, thank you. The last song in here, the Billings Chester tune, the first national anthem before the Francis Scott Key. Obviously, this is not the text to that, but Let Tyrants Shake Their Iron Rods, that lovely, I believe that's this Chester, right? So this is When Egypt Had Come, Psalm 114. Sarah, let's sing through yours one more time, but just for Pat Porter. Page 8, yes, thank you.
I'll give you just the last line.
Praise the Lord, ye hands of Lord, in praise Him, angels in the high. Sun and moon rejoice before Him. Praise Him, all ye stars of light. Praise the Lord, for He has spoken. Words His mighty voice obey. Laws which never shall be broken, for their guidance He hath made.
All right, well, we will take another few minutes, a couple bits of housekeeping. We will have lunch downstairs after the next session. So we'll get to hear more of these songs. We just wanted to whet the palate for you and get us singing. It just felt like, what is it? Dancing, talking about music is like dancing about architecture or something. So we needed to be able to sing. So take a few minutes of break.